You might be aiming down sights when you don't need to in Arena Breakout. Master point firing, and you'll shoot first and win more gunfights. Most players haven't mastered this tactic, and it can seriously up your game. In Arena Breakout, your gun can be in one of three positions: lowered, ready, or aim down sights. When you sprint, your gun is always lowered, making you unable to shoot immediately. When you walk, your rifle is held ready, allowing you to shoot immediately, also known as point firing or hip firing. It's not as accurate as ADS, but it's faster and more convenient, making it a better choice for close range fights. Aiming down sights is when you're looking through your sights, which could be iron sights, a red dot sight, or a magnified scope. ADS is the most accurate way to shoot, giving you tighter shots and better accuracy at longer distances, but it does mean you see less around you. If ADS is so accurate, why even bother with point firing? The number one reason to master point firing? Speed. You can fire almost instantly with point firing, engaging targets much faster than aiming down sights. In Arena Breakout, that speed can be the difference between winning and losing, especially in close quarters or when reacting to ambushes. Of course, this speed comes at the cost of accuracy, especially at longer ranges. So, while point firing is incredibly powerful up close, you'll still want to use ADS when accuracy is key. And if you're running weapons with low ergo, point firing becomes even more crucial. In a game like Arena Breakout, that half second or even a fraction of it takes to ADS could be the difference between taking down an enemy and getting taken down yourself. It's a luxury you often can't afford. The second advantage of point firing: greater versatility with your optics. Once you can consistently point fire up to 20 meters, you won't need to rely on red dot or holographic sights anymore. This opens up the possibility of using magnified optics like 2x, 3x, or even 6x scopes, giving you a serious edge in raids. You can point fire at close range and switch to ADS for those longer shots. What's your go-to optic setup? Let me know in the comments. ADS narrows your vision, like looking through a tunnel, focusing you on a small area. Great for long range, but in close quarters, you're blind to what's happening around you. Point firing completely removes this tunnel vision effect, making it easier to track multiple targets and react to changes in your environment since you can see more on the edges of your phone screen. With this improved awareness, you can make smarter decisions and increase your chances of winning engagements. Since point firing lets you shoot faster, let's talk about using movement to make yourself an even harder target. You don't need any special moves when point firing. It's really about hitting your shots before the enemy can react. But to add some flair to your gameplay, it all starts with crouching plus leaning. Crouching and leaning, especially in close quarters, throws your enemy's aim and makes your head harder to hit. It's simple but effective. Just be aware that crouching too low can sometimes backfire if your enemy's aim is already low. I sometimes jump at people hoping for a lucky headshot, but I wouldn't recommend it as a primary tactic. It can catch people off guard, but there are often better ways to approach a fight. Finally, if you're out of options, try drop shotting. This isn't Call of Duty, so it's the last thing people expect in Arena Breakout. It might just work if you have nothing to lose. But remember, once you're down, you're vulnerable, so use it wisely. Now that we've discussed the advantages of point firing, let's explore how to develop this skill. The first crucial element for effective point firing, and the one that's often overlooked, is maintaining proper crosshair placement even when you're not aiming down sights. This means keeping your crosshair at roughly head level of where you expect enemies to show up. By doing so, you reduce the time and distance you need to line up a shot. When an enemy pops out, your crosshair is already near their head, meaning you only need to make minor adjustments before firing. If your crosshair is down by your feet or off to the side, you'll waste precious time moving your weapon onto the target. This might seem like a small detail, but trust me, it makes a huge difference in your speed and accuracy when you decide to engage. When holding an angle expecting an enemy to pass by or push up, aim slightly away from the wall, a little further out than the corner. to give yourself time to react and track an enemy as they peek. If you're in a mid to long range standoff, it's alright to aim closer to the wall so you can punish them when they peek. The second key element is pre-aiming. While proper crosshair placement keeps your aim generally ready, pre-aiming takes it a step further. It's about predicting exactly where an enemy will be and placing your crosshair there before they even appear. You use your map knowledge, sounds, and gut instincts to anticipate their movement. You're not just ready, you're specifically prepared for that enemy. The final element for effective point firing is crosshair recovery, or recentering your aim after each burst. When you fire, recoil kicks your crosshair off target. If you don't adjust, your subsequent shots will likely miss. That's why it's crucial to pull down and control your crosshair back towards your target between bursts. This might seem obvious, but it's a fundamental skill, especially in close quarters where rapid follow-up shots are essential. Mastering this will significantly improve not just your point firing, but your overall gunplay in the long run. Next, you'll want to use consistent gear. Wait, what does gear have to do anything with point firing? Well, different armor sets have varying weights and levels of drawbacks. Lighter armor allows for greater mobility, including faster movement speed, quicker transitions between stances like going from sprinting to walking, and better stamina consumption. This increased mobility can be helpful for utilizing point firing effectively, as it allows you to quickly close the distance where point firing is most advantageous, move around the map more fluidly, and react faster in unexpected engagements. There's a total of 37 body armors in the game currently, including the 926 lightweight from the CDIS faction that can be found in the contacts. I won't discuss every type of body armor because that would take too long, but let me give you some recommendations, starting with the more affordable options. For Tier 4, I highly suggest getting the SAK Composite, SAK Fortress, or the IND 401. Moving up to Tier 5, the KN Field Commander, also known as the Derwin Armor, is my top pick. It's generally cheaper than other Tier 5 options, has decent durability even after repair, and you can get it directly from Derwin. It might not look the best on paper, but the price, especially for a worn one, the durability, and the availability makes it a winner. The HLC TAC and the 926 Composite are also great options, but they are basically identical to the Derwin armor, with market prices that can fluctuate, and their durability is slightly lower after repairs. If they had the same durability, the HLC TAC would probably be my number one pick because of its minimal ergo debuff. And for Tier 6, I always recommend the BT-101 TAC body armor. It has the least movement speed debuff of all Tier 6 armors and doesn't affect your ergonomics at all, making it perfect for players who like to stay mobile. The KN Composite is a close second, with higher durability and upper abdomen protection, but it's a bit slower due to the added movement speed debuff and ergonomics penalty. It's a good choice if you prefer a more cautious playstyle. I generally avoid full body or heavy armors for point firing because of their significant mobility penalties, unless you're playing with a squad that can cover you. Now, about weapons. While you can technically use any weapon for point firing, some are better suited for it than others. And if you can spend a bit more coin, you'll see a noticeable performance boost. For example, here's how I build a cheap but reliable weapon to train point firing. If you want to reduce the gun's recoil, ideally you need to achieve at least 75 and above of hipfire stability and 65 above of vertical and horizontal recoil to reduce weapon kicking and to allow better follow-up shots when needed. While 70 hipfire stability is generally good, you'll want something higher than that for a more consistent spread, especially when point firing. And the main way to increase your hipfire stability is through rare grips, some stocks, and visible lasers. Stick around, because later, I'll reveal the one laser attachments that's a must-have for point firing. These numbers can be pricey to achieve, especially with high-end attachments or weapons. However, you can still get good results with cheap but good recoil boosting attachments like the Alloy Tactical Front Grip, lightweight AR, collapsible lightweight stock, and many more. Fortunately, muzzle flash isn't that bad in this game. Unlike in other games, using suppressors or flash hiders isn't necessary. So, sticking with regular muzzle attachments should be fine. You don't have to worry too much about ergonomics since you'll be hip firing a lot, but feel free to customize your weapon however you want for your comfort. A visible laser offers a significant advantage, a clear aiming point. even without using your sights, improving your accuracy. But there are 3 things to keep in mind. First, turn it on for the extra hipfire stability boost, and off when you don't need it to stay hidden. Second, your shots won't always land exactly where the laser points. Lastly, attaching 2 lasers gives you only 1 laser's worth of accuracy buff. So, which one should you use? For the best balance of price and performance, the IR laser is a great choice. You might think the blue laser is better because it's cheaper, and it's worth considering. But the IR laser's added hipfire stability is worth the 300 coins, and the slight ergo decrease is barely noticeable. The multi-purpose laser is also a solid option, offering good performance at a friendly price. If you're loaded with coins and demand the absolute best, go for the blue-violet laser. I've shared my favorites, now let me hear yours. Now that we've covered the core techniques, gear and lasers, let's quickly talk about optimizing your settings. We don't need to get it perfect right away, we just need a stable starting point, and we can work our way up from there. First, you need a HUD layout that allows you to press multiple buttons simultaneously. A 3 to 4 finger layout would be great. Set your fire and lean buttons so they're easy to press together. These are crucial for point firing. Here's mine for example. I use my left index finger to shoot and my right index finger for leaning left or right. To find your ideal sensitivity, hop onto the shooting range and set your no ADS sensitivity to 100. Turn off aim assist for this drill. The rule here is to not use the ADS button. From there, go to the middle section and aim at the dummy's necks. Try to lean. 3 burst, lean, and 3 burst them one by one. Spend a few minutes doing this and focus on whether you're over flicking or under flicking. If you're consistently over flicking, lower your no ADS sensitivity. If you're under flicking, increase it. Flicking in Arena Breakout might not be as common as in other FPS games, but doing this drill consistently not only helps you find the sweet spot for your sensitivity, but it also helps with your micro adjustments as well. Once you find a sensitivity you like, stick with it. Consistency is key. Once you have that dialed in, you can up the challenge by standing at the end of a firing lane and practicing your leaning and shooting while moving. Now, this is just a quick overview. If you want my top 9 tips for optimizing your controls, including advanced settings, click the video on the left.